How's it going, guys? Well, I'm down in my in-ground trampoline with the coughing puppy. I think he's got allergies. I hope it's just allergies. And well, over here you can see good time to check out the clay, the solid packed clay that we have around here. I think this is some green sand. Good time to gather this stuff up, save it, use it for stuff. Solid clay. Yep. That's all. I'll show you a little bit of the garden in a bit. It's coming along. Got tomatoes in different spots this year. Potatoes. A couple things. I'll take you through. I wanted to start off with something that a problem that I've been having. I used the landscape from my front yard as mulch last year, and this is one of the trees in the front yard, or one of the bushes, and it's just coming up everywhere. So be careful when I saw the seeds after it was too late. I noticed the seed pods, and I checked, and they were all viable. Like, I squashed the seeds, they all looked viable, and I checked around the plant, and that's a very good sign when the plant is, I don't know how like they let you plant these, because they're just invasive. They completely take over the front yard. But hey, that's alright. I also wanted to tell you about my garden shears. These guys are so sharp. I got them last year, but the only thing about them is you got to keep them inside because they will rust. You gotta wash them off when you're obviously cutting this stuff. But I'm also working on training my blueberries on this sugar snap pea support. I might have to angle it a bit that way so it doesn't. But I don't want to cut anything off of these blueberries. I just want this guy to tilt this way a little bit to give this guy more room. But also, this is crossing over the other one, so I might even pull this guy more this way. We'll see. Oh, sorry about that. Got a Home Depot blueberry right there that's, surviving. We'll see. I don't know. There's some leeks or garlic chives right around here. I don't know what they were. We'll see. But just come up. You know what? I might leave that tomato. I'm leaving a couple tomatoes. I put a cucumber, or maybe it's cantaloupe, some Swiss chard, and another cucumber. I'm leaving these tomatoes that came up. We'll see which one looks best in a little while. Might cut this guy. I'll leave that guy. Little stuff like that does need to be there. You see, I'm gonna start using this more for pruning, because I've got a small enough garden. I like to hang out in it in the weekends, so I can come around and just really quick chop down some tomatoes, tomato weeds. They come up everywhere. I feel like that's a very good problem to have, because if I just let everything go, I would have tomatoes, probably just cherry tomatoes, but tomatoes for days. I would never run out. They just come up everywhere. I don't know if it's from the compost or if it's happened every year. But there's not as many tomatoes over here, so I'm assuming it won't happen as much next year. Unless I leave a couple. The peppers are doing alright. This is a type of Anaheim chili. We got regular jalapenos. And long cayennes. Over here I have a couple of grape cuttings starting to have some buds on them. He's right under there. I don't know if you can see it right here. I don't know if you can see that one, but it's right there. There's 2 grape cuttings, and I have a dream of putting an arbor right here. You know, it'd be a nice spot for grapes to be over. And if they were just right here, that would be perfect. So, you know, and they would get plenty of airflow because of this. And since it's so humid around here, I don't know, it'd be perfect, in my opinion, hopefully. The French sorrel I'm using as basically a comfrey, just cutting, because nobody's really eating it right now. I eat a little bit, maybe toss some in a smoothie, but there's so much of it. I don't know, I had a patch right there and a patch right there. I'm gonna plant something else right there, so I cut that back as much as I can, and every time I see it, I cut it back, and hopefully the roots will die, but I doubt it. This guy I'm just using as a chop and drop. I'm probably gonna start with this guy. I wanted to see what their flowers look like. Last year they were pretty dull. I don't know if that was the best they could do, so I don't know. I'll probably cut this guy back a little bit too. A lot of stuff in here, so I'm just kind of pushing it over towards the grapes. But we'll see. French breakfast radishes. See how they taste. Some of them might look like they're almost splitting a bit. I don't know, but they look good. Coming up. I planted more around, but they haven't started to look like this yet. Oh, one of my cabbages buried. Something's attacking them, but that's typical. You know, cabbage. This one looks fine though. Numbers, you know, gotta get ahead of them. Everything else, these fig trees are looking sad. I don't know. It's whatever. Oh, that's all. Whoa. This guy right here is a killer. We saw a possum, or 2 huge possums out in the front yard today, and he was begging to go get them. So I tossed a leash on him. He charges out there, and I'm expecting him to like bark in and it'll run away. This mother trucker grabs him by the throat and starts shaking it. It's like a 10-pound possum, no joke. So I get him off of it, and I was like, oh my god. Obviously the possum's playing dead. But yeah, he almost, if I had let him, he would have murked it for sure. No doubt. No doubt in my mind that thing was dead if I didn't let him take him off of it. But it was on my neighbor's doorstep. So I had to like pick up the fucking thing and walk it into her bushes just so like she didn't notice it. And then I come out 5 minutes later and she's sitting right above it, like fucking telling me she's screaming that she saw it. That was funny. Oh my gosh. Well, now I know. Whenever that dog sees something alive, he wants to kill it. He doesn't want to go say hi to it. I hear him doing something over there. He's eating chickweed. Probably got a bad stomach ache or something. These little spinach seedlings are going slow. I would expect them to do better. Just taking out all the tomatoes. Little tomatoes coming up everywhere. This is I said I was going to use those snippers, but it's just so much easier to do this. Obviously not looking through the camera and trying to do it, but tree seeds. Everything's doing well. The cabbage is getting destroyed. Everything has got holes in it, but I'll probably have some cabbage. The Swiss chard doing amazing like always. You see these freaking tomatoes that come up everywhere. When I say I have tomatoes as a weed, I'm not joking. That's a carpet of tomatoes if I let it. Look at this. There's tomatoes everywhere. It's a good problem to have. Because I don't really have to ever buy tomatoes again if I really don't want to. Look at all these things. Just getting rid of them. I keep a couple, but in the back row, I usually let tomatoes go and just kind of fold up against the fence and, you know, do what they do. Usually they're cherry tomatoes or really small tomato varieties because they do the best. But the spinach isn't doing bad. It's just crowded out with tomatoes. I just find this relaxing. Some people do not like to come out and weed. I don't mind. Especially when they're little tomatoes. And if you really wanted to, you could go plant that somewhere. I'd obviously be a little bit more gentle when I'm pulling them out, but most of these guys they're just everywhere. I can't deal. I can't hang. Can't hang with all those tomatoes. Swiss chard. See this one cucumber right here got hammered. Maybe that's a cantaloupe. Cucumber or cantaloupe. Looks like a cantaloupe because it's got a flat top. The first true leaf is not as sharp. Might leave this tomato. You know, you see what I mean? Like, you just leave. Like, I'll leave that guy. I haven't planted anything around him yet. Obviously, that cucumber's right there, but... I just like to hang out in one bed, you know. Yes, last week I was just hanging out in this bed. No, you see right here. That's a good tasty weed. And some spinach, lettuce, red mist, and romaine that have self-seeded. These carrots are real thick, but once they start to produce a little bit, I'll pull one or two out around them, you know, start thinning them out. Once they grow a little bit, have some carrots. Oh, what do you want, killer? He's starting to get better at not going in the beds. I probably should have left that one. Whatever. I'll leave these two. It's just a guesstimation. You know what? I'm gonna go get a steak for these guys. These guys are looking good. I'm gonna put a steak here and a steak here and kind of crawl them up. Be right back. I think these are apple seedlings, so I'll leave them. this guy. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. This guy, you could tell. This guy got stepped on by the pup. Small price to pay for a guard dog. I don't mind it. Oh, look at this. Biggest mistake is these seeds. I brought in a bunch of mulch with seeds in them, and they just are coming up everywhere. I can't kill them fast enough. Look at that worm coming up. But yeah, they're coming up everywhere. Mostly in the back bed where I had the squash last year, because I used that bed as the ultimate no-till bed, you know. I filled it with compost, and that was all it was. Come here, worm. Mm-hmm. And no matter how small these look, I'll get tomatoes off of this one if I left it. Depending on what variety it is. You see they're all different. Trulies on this one, different than the Trulies on this one, different than the one on this one. You know, they're all different. I could have endless variety of tomato. That's why everybody's like, if you have non-hybrid tomatoes, you get the same one, but it doesn't actually really matter. You just plant them, get some good tomatoes, you know? Look at this. Different. I've never seen tomato leaves like that, you know. And the tomatoes I bought, because I like certain varieties. I like to keep them, you know. Like this guy right here. Let's see. This is this is the variety that does the best around here. VNTA. I always try a beefsteak. It's the big boy hybrid. He looks like he's a little worse for wear. He's new growth. He's looking good. He's actually not putting on as much new growth as everybody else, but he's in a good spot, so he'll survive.